mother, Loretta Young, did Call of the Wild. Well, the first time I knew who my father was, I was 23, and I was 2 weeks away from being married. And I said to my fiancé, I said, I can't marry you. I don't know who I am. And he smiled and he said, well, I know everything there is to know about you. He said, you're Clark Gable's daughter.
Loretta Young, a famous and beautiful actress, had one of the biggest secrets of all. After a mysterious and troubling night with the legendary Clark Gable, she found herself pregnant. Fearing the end of her career and the scandal it would cause, she went to great lengths to keep the baby hidden. What really happened between Loretta and Clark? Why did she go to such extremes? The truth is more shocking than anyone could imagine. Loretta Young, the iconic actress known for her elegance and grace, wasn't always Loretta Young. Born Gretchen Young on January 6, 1913, in Salt Lake City, Utah, her early life was shaped by her family's strong Catholic faith. Growing up in a house where priests were regular dinner guests, her religious upbringing instilled a strong moral compass in her. But Loretta wasn't just about prayers and piety. She had a passion for dance and dreamed of becoming a ballerina. She even had some ballet training as a child, which explains why she moved so gracefully on screen. Life took an unexpected turn when her parents separated when she was just 2 years old. A year later, her mother, Gladys, moved the family to Hollywood, hoping to give her children a chance at a better life. With the help of a friendly priest, Gladys set up a boarding house to support the family. It was through her sister's husband that Loretta and her siblings got their first taste of showbiz, landing roles in silent films. Loretta's acting debut came at a very young age, around 2 or 3 years old, in the silent film Sweet Kitty Bel Airs. It was a small part, but it was the start of a long and successful career in Hollywood. As a teenager, Loretta Young attended Ramona Convent Secondary School, a private Catholic school for girls. It was during these formative years that her acting career began to blossom. John McCormick, a sharp-eyed talent manager, spotted the young Loretta and saw star potential in her. He signed her to a contract and gave her the name Loretta after his wife's favorite doll. It was a fresh start for Gretchen Young, a chance to reinvent herself and embrace her destiny as a Hollywood actress. Loretta wasn't just content with being another pretty face in the crowd. She was driven and ambitious, always striving for more. Even when cast in minor roles, she would find ways to steal the spotlight, making sure the camera captured her every move. Her determination and self-confidence were evident, and she once proclaimed, "I was always sure I was going to be a big star, not just an actress." Loretta's hard work and ambition paid off in a big way. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in The Farmer's Daughter, 1947, a heartwarming story about a young woman who runs for Congress. She also received a second Oscar nomination for her role in Come to the Stable, 1949, a sweet story about 2 nuns who try to build a children's hospital. Loretta's career was on fire, and she starred in a string of successful films throughout the 1940s and early 1950s. She captivated audiences with her performances in movies like Born to be Bad, where she played a manipulative social climber, and Call of the Wild, where she co-starred with Clark Gable in a thrilling adventure story. She also showcased her dramatic range in films like The Crusades, a historical epic about the Third Crusade, and Eternally Yours, a romantic fantasy about a magician who falls in love with a socialite. Loretta's versatility as an actress allowed her to tackle a wide range of genres, from mysteries like The Stranger to heartwarming comedies like The Bishop's Wife. She even starred in Key to the City, 1950, where she played a mayor who falls for a reporter. It was clear that Loretta Young was a star who could do it all. In the 1950s, Loretta Young made a graceful transition from the big screen to the small screen. Her anthology series, The Loretta Young Show, became a beloved classic, airing from 1953 to 1961 and winning 3 Primetime Emmy Awards. It was so popular that it was later rerun during the daytime and even syndicated to other stations. She then starred in The New Loretta Young Show from 1962 to 1963, further cementing her status as a television icon. One of the highlights of her TV shows was her glamorous fashion sense. Viewers tuned in not only for the engaging stories, but also to see what stunning outfit Loretta would wear each episode. She would make a dramatic entrance at the beginning of every show, gracefully gliding through a doorway in an elaborate gown. It was a fashion spectacle that captivated audiences, particularly women who admired her elegance and style. Loretta's love for fashion extended beyond her TV show. She was known for her impeccable taste and often wore elegant dresses designed by Jean-Louis, who would later become her husband. Her fashion choices were ahead of their time, and she was even named the best-dressed woman in America for many years. It's no wonder that her shows became a platform for showcasing the latest fashion trends. In the 1980s, Loretta made a triumphant return to television, starring in 2 NBC movies, Christmas Eve and Lady in a Corner. Her performance in Christmas Eve earned her a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a miniseries or television film. Loretta cared about her image and presentation a lot. She was also one of the most gorgeous actresses of her era, full of grace and charm. So naturally, the average woman was always dying to know her beauty secrets. In a revealing 1951 interview with Lydia Lane, Hollywood's ethereal beauty Loretta Young shared her secrets to maintaining her radiant looks. The actress, known for her flawless complexion and timeless elegance and full lips, was refreshingly candid when it came to her beauty routine. Lydia, eager to uncover the secret behind Loretta's ageless beauty, asked her, "Won't you tell me your beauty secrets?" To which Loretta replied, "I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed because I don't do very much. Basically, I have good skin, and I keep it clean with soap and water. When it feels dry, I use a lubricant on it." These simple words reflected her straightforward approach to skincare, cleanliness, and hydration. When it came to weight management, Loretta had a unique problem. She confessed, "I have to watch my weight to keep from getting thin, but I found if I drank a quart of whole milk a day, I can stay around 110. So she had difficulty gaining weight. To maintain her weight, she would drink a quart of milk just to gain weight. That just goes to show you, if you're trying to lose weight, maybe you'd want to cut out the milk or dairy products because people were using that to gain weight. But to continue, she said, which is normal for her 110. So all her life she was 110 lbs. Of course, she was in her 50s and 60s. Loretta Young, the angelic beauty of Hollywood, wasn't immune to the allure of romance. As a teenager, she basked in the limelight, attending lavish parties and events with a string of handsome suitors. But to protect her squeaky clean image, she had a publicist working tirelessly to keep her out of the gossip columns. Behind closed doors, however, Young was struggling with her own desires and ambitions. At 17, she fell head over heels for Grant Withers, her co-star in the film The Second Floor Mystery. Defying her mother's wishes, she eloped with Withers to Arizona in a whirlwind romance. It was a scandalous move for a young actress who was trying to maintain a wholesome image. Ironically, their last film together was titled Too Young to Marry, foreshadowing the couple's eventual demise. The marriage lasted less than a year, leaving Young disillusioned and heartbroken. This failed union tarnished the image she had worked so hard to build, forcing her to confront the harsh realities of love and the complexities of relationships in the public eye. Loretta Young's struggle between her public image and her personal desires continued to play out in her relationships. She was committed to portraying a virtuous Catholic girl, even refusing to utter the word divorce in her films. But behind the scenes, her love life was far from perfect. In 1933, while filming A Man's Castle, Young fell for her co-star, Spencer Tracy. It was a passionate affair, but Tracy, a devout Catholic like Young, was already married. Even though he and his wife were separated, his faith prevented him from seeking a divorce, creating a moral dilemma for the young actress. Torn between her love for Tracy and her religious beliefs, Young made the difficult decision to end their relationship. She poured her heart out in a farewell letter, expressing her deep affection for him, but also her unwavering commitment to her faith. In the letter she wrote, "It will be impossible for us to see each other again unless we can truthfully and honestly be a good girl and a good boy." It was a poignant goodbye, a testament to the strength of her convictions and the depth of her feelings for Tracy. Tracy, deeply touched by her words, kept the letter close to his heart until his death. It was a cherished reminder of their love, a love that was never meant to be, but left a lasting mark on both their lives. In the golden age of Hollywood, when scandals were as common as red carpets, a sizzling secret affair ignited between two of its biggest stars, the charming and charismatic Clark Gable and the innocent and devoutly Catholic Loretta Young. Their electrifying chemistry on the set of Call of the Wild sparked whispers of a forbidden romance. Gable, known for his womanizing ways, would often playfully call out, "Where's my girl?" when he couldn't find Young. Young, despite her strong morals, basked in the attention, believing she was safe as long as she maintained her virtue. But fate had other plans. One fateful night on the overnight train back to Hollywood, Young found herself alone, without her usual chaperone. Gable, seizing the opportunity, ventured into her compartment. What happened next remained a closely guarded secret for decades. But it was clear that Young's vow of chastity had been broken. This illicit encounter would have far-reaching consequences for both Young and Gable, casting a shadow over their careers and personal lives. The scandal threatened to tarnish Young's reputation as a wholesome actress, while Gable's already troubled marriage faced further strain. As whispers of the affair continued to circulate, Gable's wife, Maria, tried to put out the fire by throwing a party where she and Young could show everyone they were on good terms. But Young was dealing with a much bigger problem. She was pregnant with Gable's child. Scared of what her production company might do if they found out, Young decided to keep her pregnancy a secret. For her, having an abortion was out of the question due to her strong Catholic beliefs. She was determined to protect her unborn child, no matter the cost. So, she devised a cunning plan to keep her pregnancy hidden. In the early months, she kept herself busy with filming and public appearances, making sure she was seen everywhere. This was a clever ploy, as it allowed her to later claim exhaustion and take a break from the spotlight without raising suspicion. It was a risky move, but Young was willing to do whatever it took to protect her child and her career. The lengths she went to conceal her pregnancy were nothing short of extraordinary. She disappeared from the public eye for months, fueling rumors and speculation. As August approached, Loretta's pregnancy became more apparent, forcing her to take drastic measures. Citing exhaustion from her busy schedule, she feigned a sudden illness, and her doctor, playing along with the charade, recommended a 2-month break from filming. This was all part of Loretta's elaborate plan to disappear from the public eye and give birth in secret. In November, far from the prying eyes of Hollywood, Loretta gave birth to a baby girl in a secluded Los Angeles cottage. She named her Judy, after St. Jude, the patron saint of hopeless causes, a fitting name for a child born into a world of secrets and lies. When Clark Gable received the news of Judy's birth, he allegedly tore up the telegram and let it fall to the floor. He wanted nothing to do with the baby or Loretta, leaving her to bear the burden of their secret affair alone. It was a cruel rejection, a stark reminder of the harsh realities of Hollywood and the double standards faced by women. In order to protect her career and avoid a public scandal, Loretta Young made the agonizing decision to place her baby daughter, Judy, in an orphanage. However, after 19 months of separation, her maternal instincts took over, and she couldn't bear being apart from her child any longer. To bring Judy back into her life without revealing the truth, Young concocted an elaborate scheme. She announced that she planned to adopt 2 young girls, hoping to create a plausible cover story for Judy's sudden reappearance. At the last minute, the mother of the other child backed out, leaving Young to adopt only Judy. This elaborate ruse allowed Young to reunite with her daughter without raising any eyebrows. It was a masterstroke of manipulation, protecting her image while satisfying her longing to be a mother. But the cost of this deception was high. Judy grew up believing that she was adopted, unaware that her own mother was the famous actress who raised her. Young wanted to protect her career and maintain her image as a virtuous woman, but she also felt a pang of guilt towards her daughter Judy, who was growing up without knowing her real father. In a surprising move, Young even invited Clark Gable to visit Judy, hoping he would establish some kind of connection with his child. However, according to Young's accounts, Gable only visited Judy once, a brief encounter that left her longing for a deeper relationship with her father. To provide for Judy financially without raising suspicion, Young opened a bank account for Gable to secretly deposit money into. But to her dismay, Gable never contributed a single dime, leaving Young to shoulder the financial burden of raising their daughter alone. As Judy grew older, her resemblance to Gable became more and more striking. She inherited his high cheekbones, large ears, and even his mischievous grin. Young, desperate to hide this undeniable connection, resorted to dressing Judy in frilly bonnets to cover her her ears, but the physical resemblance was too obvious to ignore, and whispers began circulating within the inner circles of Hollywood. When Judy turned 7, Young took drastic measures. She took her to a plastic surgeon to pin back her ears, poor child, hoping this would quell the rumors once and for all. But the lies only deepened over time. Even Tom Lewis, Young's second husband, was kept in the dark about Judy's true parentage. He loved Young deeply and never questioned who Judy's real father was. In the midst of this ongoing deception, Young and Lewis welcomed 2 sons, Christopher and Peter. This time, there were no secrets or hidden truths. The boys were known to be their legitimate children. Even with a secret child to care for, Loretta Young wasn't about to let her career fade away. In 1949, MGM offered her the chance to star alongside Clark Gable once again in the film Key to the City. Young saw this as a strategic move to silence the whispers about Gable being Judy's father. After all, who would work with their child's father if they were trying to hide it? The filming went smoothly until one day, Young collapsed on set. The media buzzed with rumors that she was suffering from complications related to a secret pregnancy. Tragically, these rumors were partly true, as Young suffered a miscarriage just 2 weeks later. Despite the emotional roller coaster and physical toll, Young persevered and finished filming Key to the City. As the years passed, the truth about Judy's parentage became increasingly difficult for Loretta Young to hide. By 1958, when Judy was 23, she began to suspect that Clark Gable was her real father. During a tense confrontation on Mother's Day, Judy demanded answers from Young. Overwhelmed by the weight of her decades-long lie, Young couldn't face her daughter's questions. She retreated to her room and vomited, consumed by guilt and shame. This revelation shattered the carefully constructed facade she had built around her life and family. From that day forward, their relationship was irrevocably changed. Judy was angry and hurt, feeling betrayed by her mother's deception. Young, on the other hand, continued to grapple with her guilt and shame, privately referring to Judy as a walking mortal sin. It was a harsh and hurtful label that reflected Young's internal conflict between her religious beliefs and her past mistakes. The tragedy of this situation was compounded by the fact that Clark Gable had already passed away by the time Judy discovered the truth. She was denied the opportunity to confront her father and seek answers about her origins. This loss left a void in Judy's life, a void filled with unanswered questions and unresolved emotions. In her memoir, Judy wrote, "My life has been filled with hypocrisy and deception from the moment I was born." The irony is that Judy never had the chance to know Gable, who had no desire to be a part of her life. Yet, she directed her anger and resentment towards Young, the parent who had raised her and provided for her. This isn't uncommon in families where one parent is absent. Children often feel more anger towards the parent who stayed because they can't express their frustrations to the one who left. It's easier to blame the present parent for their pain and disappointment. In Judy's case, the revelation of her true parentage shattered her sense of identity and left her feeling betrayed by her mother. It's understandable why she would feel anger and resentment towards Young, who had kept such a significant secret from her for so long. It's a complex situation with no easy answers. On one hand, Young's decision to hide Judy's paternity was driven by a desire to protect her career and reputation. On the other hand, it robbed Judy of the chance to know her father and understand her own identity. What would you do if you were in Judy's shoes? Would you be angry at your mother for keeping such a significant secret from you? Or would you try to understand her motivations and forgive her for the mistakes she made? It's a difficult question with no right or wrong answer. Caught in a web of her own making, Loretta Young faced the brunt of her daughter Judy's anger and resentment. She shouldered the blame for the night on the train with Clark Gable, convinced it was her fault for allowing herself to be vulnerable to temptation. This guilt haunted her throughout her life, casting a shadow over her otherwise successful career and happy family life. But everything changed in 1998 when Loretta watched an episode of Larry King Live. The topic of discussion was date rape, a term that was unfamiliar to her. Confused, she turned to her daughter-in-law, Linda, for an explanation. As Linda described how date rape didn't always involve violence, but rather a disregard for a woman's refusal, a light bulb went off in Loretta's mind. She finally realized that what had happened to her that night on the train with Gable wasn't just a lapse in judgment, it was a violation, a form of sexual assault fault. This realization was a turning point for Loretta. It allowed her to reframe the events of that fateful night, to see herself not as a sinner, but as a victim. It was a painful truth to confront, but it also brought a sense of clarity and understanding that she had been denied for so many years. Despite this new understanding, Loretta Young decided not to burden her daughter Judy with the painful truth about her conception. She feared it would destroy Judy's idealized image of her father, Clark Gable, and further damage their already fragile relationship. Young was finally beginning to mend the rift with her daughter, and she didn't want to risk losing that progress. While Judy never learned the full truth about her father, this revelation brought a profound sense of peace to Loretta. She had lived with guilt and shame for decades, blaming herself for what happened on that fateful night. But now, she understood that she wasn't at fault, that she had been a victim of a terrible act. This understanding brought a sense of closure and allowed her to forgive herself. Even though she continued to carry the secret of Judy's paternity to her grave, the weight of guilt was lifted from her shoulders. After years of silence, Loretta Young decided to finally reveal the truth about Judy's paternity in her autobiography, which was to be published after her death. She wanted to set the record straight and confirm the long-standing rumors about Clark Gable being Judy's father. However, she chose to protect Judy from the painful details of the date rape, framing her relationship with Gable as a momentary lapse in judgment. Young's reputation and, more importantly, her daughter's perception of her remained her top priority. By omitting the truth about the assault, she could maintain her image as a virtuous woman and protect Judy from the harsh reality of her conception. One truth was finally revealed, but the other remained buried, a secret she took to her grave. After retiring from acting in the 1960s, Young dedicated her life to the church, charity work, and volunteerism. She was a devout Catholic, striving to make a positive impact on the world through her faith and good deeds. This earned her the nickname Miss Goody Two-Shoes, a label that reflected her wholesome image and charitable endeavors. But beneath the surface, Young was also known as the Iron Butterfly, a nickname that hinted at her steely determination and unwavering will. She had navigated the treacherous waters of Hollywood, facing challenges and scandals with a quiet strength and resilience. She once said, "I am in an industry that demands everything from you, plus your gratitude," acknowledging the sacrifices and compromises she had made to succeed in her career. In August 2000, Loretta Young passed away at the age of 87 after a long battle with ovarian cancer. Her beloved daughter, Judy, followed in 2011, succumbing to lymphoma. Their deaths brought an end to a complex and often secretive mother-daughter relationship, but it also opened the door for a long-hidden truth to emerge. Years later, Loretta's son Christopher and his wife Linda decided to reveal a shocking secret. Clark Gable had allegedly sexually assaulted Loretta on that fateful night on the train. This revelation, kept hidden for decades, cast a dark shadow over the iconic actor's legacy and shed new light on Loretta's lifelong struggle with guilt and shame. Christopher and Linda wrestled with the decision to share this painful truth, but they ultimately felt it was important to honor Loretta's memory and expose the dark side of Hollywood's past. They knew that their revelation would spark controversy and potentially tarnish Gable's reputation, but they believed that the truth deserved to be told. With both Loretta and Gable gone, there's no way to confirm or deny these accusations. The truth of what happened that night may forever remain shrouded in mystery. However, Christopher and Linda's decision to speak out is a testament to their courage and their desire to shed light on the injustices faced by women in Hollywood, both past and present. It can be frustrating when family secrets are revealed after someone passes away. Why not spill the tea while they're still alive? It seems like a missed opportunity for healing and understanding. But in Loretta Young's case, I can see why her family might have hesitated. It's easy to judge from the outside, but we can't truly know what Loretta went through or why she chose to keep this secret. It's possible she wanted to protect her daughter, Judy, from the painful truth, or perhaps she feared the repercussions for her career and reputation. However, I agree with you that in this instance, it's good that the truth finally came out. It shines a light on the dark side of Hollywood and the injustices faced by women, even those in the spotlight. It also helps to restore Loretta's reputation, showing that she was a victim, not a homewrecker. While Loretta didn't live to see her name cleared, her grandchildren's decision to share the truth is a brave act of justice and a testament to their love for their grandmother. It allows us to see her story in a new light and understand the complexities of her life. Ultimately, it's up to each of us to decide how we feel about the timing of this revelation. But one thing is is for sure, the truth always has a way of coming out, and it's important to acknowledge the courage it takes to share a painful secret, especially when it involves a beloved public figure.